After the fourth quarter from a few nights ago, what did you like about the fourth quarter execution down the
Yes.
stretch tonight?
Uh, well, on both sides of the floor, it was much better. We certainly had some good activity defensively, some timely stops, to give us that lead, and then, very intentional, going down the stretch. Jimmy obviously made some big buckets down the stretch, but I thought the spacing, the execution, what we were trying to get accomplished to get him, in his strength zone, I thought was pretty intentional on the player's part. And Bam was really good as well. Tyler, those three guys were making a lot of plays for us, and there was just a lot more purpose, to what we were doing.
You've talked a lot about how going through a start like this develops grit and all those things. A game like tonight where your starting point guard and your backup point guard are both not there, you don't turn the ball over hardly at all, and you never seem to lose any. There was never any sense of rattle in a game that was like one or two possessions pretty much the entire way.
Yeah, I would say for the most part, that's who we've been all year. Now, our record, obviously you are what your record is, but we've developed that kind of grit. We didn't show it certainly in the Detroit game when they knocked down some shots. But I thought, both teams were going back and forth pretty much the whole game, and I thought our approach from the very beginning, we just knew that this was going to have to take the full 48 minutes, if not more. Guys were saying that in the huddles. There wasn't any kind of anxiety. You just knew that it was going to be that kind of competitive game, and that we were going to have to make plays and stack play after play after play, and also withstand some runs on their part, which they did. I mean, Paul George just seems like whenever he gets the ball, when they need a bucket, he can get a shot off. He's just one of those guys that you're just not really sure what you can do to scheme against. He's can do it at all three levels. He's clever. He knows how to draw fouls as well. But I think we got the key stops when we needed to, and we showed that kind of mental toughness and stability just to find a way to grind it out, in those last 3 minutes.
Coach Charles Barkley said yesterday that the Heat should break up the team and start over.
You obviously haven't paid attention to my stuff. Who cares?
Bam's been seeing a lot of doubles in that mid-post area over the last few games. It seemed like tonight he had a good amount of counters for it in different ways. Just what have you seen, I guess, from that?
I think it's similar to what Tyler has been doing and his evolution, that teams are trying to scheme against him. And I've made that point to Tyler that you can't predetermine. You have to go into it understanding, that each team may have a different scheme, but it is going to be consistent that they're going to try to take you out of your comfort zones. Well, now we're seeing the similar thing with Bam. When he's operated in the middle of the paint for so many games, and he's been so efficient, with his shooting, attacking, getting to the free throw line in his sweet spots. Of course, teams now are going to bring a second defender, and that'll be part of his evolution now. And he already is a great passer, so that should help us once he starts to get comfortable. That right now what we're seeing is it's after he makes the move. That's when the second defender is coming. It's not initially on the catch. It's when he goes into his move, then he can expect another defender. Well, then now he can kind of go back to his playmaking mode in those areas without taking a step back in terms of his assertiveness, aggressiveness. And that's that balance that, young stars, have to figure out, and he will. It's a compliment. It's a big-time compliment. It's a sign of respect that both of those guys have been given, that you start to try to scheme and X and O against them.
A lot of times a matter of staying afloat till the finish. What Caleb provided you with that three-point shooting when a lot others weren't falling, how important was his burst, was his skirmish?
And in the second half, Caleb is a really good basketball player. I think that's the most important thing. The guy impacts winning. If anybody's paying attention, down the stretch, he was the one, the point of the attack against Paul George. He just makes a lot of plays defensively. He's rock solid. And he's an offensive talent. He does a lot of different things for us. He can score. That's what he was before he got to us in college. But he's also really learned how to space the floor for us, get us to secondary triggers, and also be a ball mover. He's really grown in all of these different areas. But that just, speaks to him becoming, a complete basketball player who's impacting winning and impacting in his minutes.
And just curious, you had 2 timeouts left. You're losing the ball at a midcourt. Why
I
not
blew
call
it.
time?
I blew it. I was, I don't know. I cannot believe I didn't call it. Once he pivoted and turned and the trap was on, I was there and I couldn't get it out. No, I can't believe I didn't.
It's not available against every team like it was tonight, but for this group, as far as late game offense goes, is not just Jimmy, but Jimmy, Tyler, and Bam hunting mismatches, kind of the most coherent version of the late game offense.
League wide, right? It's pretty much league wide. You're not going to be running flex, in the last 6 minutes or motion offense from the old Indiana Hoosiers. You're going to get the ball to your best player's hands, but you have to be purposeful in this league, because there's a lot of different schemes you can do to burn clock. Defensively, you don't want to be caught, in the last 5 seconds with a home run play. So your purpose has to be great. Everybody has to be on the same page, and then your spacing is so critical. Out of whatever action you're trying to get to at the end.
11 steals for you guys tonight. Was that something that you thought could be there coming in, or was that just a result of
I don't know.
what happened?
That's something we emphasize constantly. It's a barometer for our success. Not necessarily the steals, but the activity, deflections, speeding teams up, getting them out of their normal comfort zones. We're at our best defensively when we're active, disruptive, and it takes a commitment to that energy and activity. That's the blueprint for our success defensively. We're not confused about it, and it takes great discipline to be able to do that consistently over and over and over, particularly if you know that that's your roadmap to success on that side of the floor.
Given that she's about to land in San Antonio,
Yeah,
I wanted to
I'm
ask
glad
what
you
you
asked.
thought,
Yeah.
just how you processed the news and your reaction to it all.
It was something we talked about as a team today. First of all, just from a perspective standpoint, that we were all aware of it, and it was a moment of celebration. And it's a great point of perspective for all of us. When she comes back and Brittany puts her feet in this country again, that's an amazing perspective. That then everything is great. And I think we've all had these moments in the last few months where you're trying to process it and then put yourself in her shoes and understand how horrifying, that experience was, for her. That's just, that's incredible, that this is happening and that, she'll be able to go back home and resume her life. That should be celebrated. Okay, thank you.